Free solutions for a weight loss plateau. Good morning. If you're coming in, give me a hello. If you're on replay, drop a replay below. Let me know if you have any questions at all that you want us to cover ever. So I'm just coming to the end of our 5-day kickstart, which has been interesting week. Some people getting started doing 5-minute workouts for the first time, 10-minute workouts, 15-minute workouts. And the key thing, getting it done. Normally they wouldn't have done it. Wouldn't have had the motivation. I have no motivation. That won't work. I'm used to training for an hour, but they're getting something done. And some people reigniting their journey. I'm breaking through weight loss plateaus. I'm now doing X, Y, Z. And today is about breaking through those weight loss plateaus, which will always happen. But firstly, I want to say well done if you're in this position and if this video actually appeals to you, because if it does appeal to you, that means that you're doing very well in that you've lost weight and actually maintained it. That's something that a lot of people struggle to do. So well done on doing that. And you could argue, if you just change the terminology, instead of a weight loss plateau, I'm going to call it weight loss maintenance. What might be different in there? I've actually maintained my weight loss. But of course, sometimes we want to lose a bit more. So this is what we're going to cover today. Okay, so there's many reasons why you might hit a weight loss plateau. Okay, so you might hit a weight loss plateau. Oh, amazing.
This is the dog.
That's the dog?
Yeah.
I love it. Give me a high five. Good work. I look forward to seeing what's next. Chapter 2. So, back to weight loss plateaus. So, in terms of the weight loss plateaus, there's 5 main reasons why you might hit a plateau. And what I want to do is come up with a strategy to overcome it, at least the main one today. Okay, so in fact we're going to cover the main one reason today, okay, because I don't want to overwhelm you. I would say this is the one reason that most people hit a plateau, and so we're going to cover this first. So the one is you are a smaller human being. Okay, if you're a smaller human being,
Daddy,
yeah.
Please take my envelope.
Oh, right, you got to share the envelope, haven't you?
But I have a ring and I go to get it and then she gets it then. And I want to put it in it.
Or can you go and ask her, see if she'll share it, okay? That's a good lesson in sharing. So, reason number 1. And this is a good example of how sometimes it's not the perfect time to do a video. And I wasn't sure whether to do this video right now because of potential interruptions. And so, reason number 1, you are now a smaller human being, okay? So being a smaller human being, you are smaller, lighter, lower in weight, okay? You've lost the weight, which is really good. And this is something that a lot of people aspire to achieve, right? But it also just so happens that you are more likely to hit a plateau when you've lost the weight. And that's because you have less, perhaps, body fat to carry around. So if you do your normal dog walk, let's say you do a dog walk along a canal or around the town or up to a forest, whatever, you do this loop, right? We're all creatures of habit. We do the same loop. We see the same people. Maybe we say good morning to the same people. Look at the weather to the same people. Yeah, it's a good convo starter, isn't it? But we do the same thing every time. And as you get smaller, you're carrying less weight around and you'll burn fewer calories. Now, perhaps the problem with that is then you're probably eating the same amount that got you to that weight. So the calories that you were consuming, you were eating lots of vegetables, perhaps increased your protein, the things that we know are linked with losing body fat, getting the results you want. But then we're not burning the same amount of calories now. So we start to hit a plateau. And not just when we do our exercise, but at rest, when we're just sitting here. Maybe we start fidgeting less. Our body starts to compensate. In fact, I did my postgraduate research on this in Oxford Brookes University, all about compensation of low-calorie diets. Now, it's not as the literature is quite mixed on that, but you look at an obese twin and a lean twin, what's the difference? Sometimes it's the fidgeting. One fidgets more than the other. They're in the same environment, the same food around, and one just had a lot more, would move a lot more around. So this is what you have to consider sometimes. But also, there was one study where they did a case study where for every, say you lost a kilogram, they would put a kilogram in a backpack, say, or a weight vest, and you would just walk around with that kilogram. So it's not like you've lost it. Morning, Lizzie. So you've got that kilogram in your weight vest. You lose a kilogram of weight, but then you put on that weight in your backpack. So you're lugging it around. And this actually seemed to increase or break through plateaus, if you like. So they were able to keep losing the weight. I'm not saying do that, but it's just to give you an idea of how being a smaller human being makes you more efficient, essentially. And you're more likely to hit a plateau doing what you're doing. A bit like if you run lots of marathons, you'll eventually start burning fewer calories running those marathons because you're more efficient, because you're fitter, right? The first session, when I go swimming, I'm quite inefficient at swimming, so I probably burn more calories than going for, say, a run, which I'm probably running a bit more efficiently because I run more than I swim. But my point is, if I kept swimming, I'd become more efficient at swimming and actually burn fewer calories. And this is the adaptation that we want. We want to be fitter, we want to be efficient, but this is where resistance exercise is so key as I come on to the solutions, because your actual aim in resistance exercise, especially when you're looking to tone muscle, build strength a bit to an extent, but you want to be inefficient when you're looking to shape, build muscle, change our body shape. You want to be squeezing the muscle, you want to be slowly lowering down. Whereas if we were to be inefficient, like trying to improve our time like we would in a run, we'd be going up and down like this, but not actually using the right muscles. I digress. So a solution here, can you be sure it is a plateau? So number one, my question to you is this: if you hit a weight loss plateau, morning Sandra, morning Nicola, can you be sure we've hit a plateau? But actually we've just not tested what we're doing for long enough, or we've had certain times where we haven't actually stuck to what we were doing for long enough to assess it. So for example, a lot of people will jump to, I just need to go on a fasting, I just need to go on an 800 calorie diet. And that might be the case, and that probably will help you break through a plateau. But it might be too soon if, one, you're not even finding it that hard at the moment. Two, you haven't been consistent actually doing what you're doing. And what I mean by consistent is I would consider you haven't hit a plateau until you've been very consistent doing what you're doing, like with your intake, day by day for about 2 to 4 weeks. That will give you a good indication. And then also, how are you assessing this plateau? Are you weighing yourself once a week? I would say, again, you're going to be open to fluctuations there. If you're really into it, you could weigh daily, weigh yourself every day, add them all up, and then divide them by 7 at the end of the week. This will then give you an average across a week. You could do that over 2 to 4 weeks and then compare the average week on week. This is probably the most accurate way to do it. And it sounds like a lot of work, but what's, for me, it's more work to be frustrated, chopping and changing what we're doing every 2 minutes, and then not actually knowing what works and what doesn't. Then going to see someone, they just say, oh, I just need to eat more speed foods or more potatoes, when it's like, why? Well, I don't really know. I'm never going to have the tools to do this myself and adapt it. And this is what we're about. So number 2, the second solution is to eat more food. I don't mean calories here. So this isn't one of those, you've gone into starvation mode. That is not true, that you go into starvation mode. But what we need by more food is more nutrient dense foods, fiber, vegetables, protein. You could eat 1,500 calories and be starving. You could eat 1,500 calories and be really full up, all by the types of foods you eat. The more processed food, the more sugary, fatty foods, you're probably going to get less satiety than higher protein, higher fiber foods. We know that. They act on the hormones, there are hunger hormones. So could you eat more of these foods and actually go to town on it? Don't be afraid to double up on the protein, double up on the vegetables, because if you eat more of them, you're probably going to eat less of something else. Or in the short term, at the very least, you're going to be quite full up. And if you go to eat these more processed foods, at least you're eating them when you're quite full up, which from an awareness point of view might be quite powerful, because you then might say, I'm really full up, but I'm still eating these. And the more you do that, the more you start to question what you're doing. Why am I eating this now? I'm definitely not hungry now. And I never forget when one of those started having a protein shake mid-afternoon. She was like, I'm really annoyed was like, why? And she said, I'm not hungry. And I like to be hungry at this time because it gives me permission to say yes to the few biscuits, yes to the chocolate bar. I was hungry. I'm listening to my body. And that's where intuitive eating can be so dangerous in a lot of cases, because we're told to just listen to your body. If you listen to your body in this environment we live in now, wow, you just walk in a supermarket, Easter eggs, mini eggs. My brain will look at Easter. I need you, but there's no physiological need for it. The packaging, the colours, they know what they're doing. The crunch, the memories from being a kid, all of these things coming into it. There's so much psychology involved. They know what they're doing. And they're probably rubbing their hands when they hear people go, just listen to your body. It's absolutely fine. Obviously, there are benefits of intuitive eating to an extent. Eating to your full with good quality, nutritious foods is very different to processed foods. But just wanted to clarify that. The next solution is to increase your NEAT. So NEAT is non-exercise activity thermogenesis. And this is the calories you burn through everyday things that you do, like fidgeting, waving hands. Like people say, oh, you wave your hands, I can't see your mouth. And I apologize for that if you use my mouth to help understand what I'm saying. But that's fidgeting, that's burning calories. Walking, singing, dancing, whatever it is, things that you do as part of your day that aren't necessarily like structured exercise. It could be going for walking around on the phone. It could be standing up. Like these live videos that started years ago all started from a walk and a talk to the studio. I think I called it walk and talk, morning chat, walk, something like that. And
Daddy, we made this together and we have all of the pictures inside there with that.
That is amazing. Can you present that to me in 10 minutes?
What?
I want to see a presentation in 10 minutes on it. Okay? High five. I look forward to seeing that.
It's for Grandma and Granddad.
Oh, it's for Grandma and Granddad. I thought it's for me.
What?
No, that's good. Well done. So, increasing your needs. So this is any movement you do kind of outside of structured physical activity. And like I said, with the lean twin and the obese twin, this could be as simple as someone shaking their leg a little bit. You know, we all know someone who taps the pen, taps they're fidgeting, you know. And what we got to consider with that. Yeah, 5 minutes. And this is one of the key things of this. So with this in mind, before going lower in calories, okay, this is the key thing. Are you doing as much NEAT as you can here? So little movements that you can increase, whether that's tracking your step count a little bit here. Because tracking your step count is a good way to see that, because your body, we know from some research that as you diet or as you lose body fat, you may subconsciously move less. Like, can you walk the dog today? Yeah, that's fine. You would normally do it. Can you do that? You take the lift instead of the stairs. From time to time, they might park closer. You've got to consider the time of year as well. Maybe you hit a plateau in the winter. Like, this sounds odd, but we maybe eat more. We don't walk at 8 p.m. Like, you think summer evenings, like it might be 7:30. Someone goes, do you want to walk? It's a nice evening. Yeah, in the winter, you don't really do that. And then you've got, in terms of NEAT, resistance exercise. Like I said, this might slow down, lessen the impact of NEAT because you're being inefficient with your lift, but you're also burning calories to an extent after the workout as well. It also doesn't take too much out of you, and there might be less compensationary effect. For example, if we're doing resistance exercise and we're doing more upper body work, that might not have no impact on whether you go for a walk later. Whereas if you do a run in the morning, you might go, I don't want to go for my usual dog walk later. There's a lot of these trade-offs that kind of come in here. But tracking your steps is a good way to do this, because if you notice you've hit a plateau, you've changed nothing, but your steps have gone from, and I've noticed my steps sometimes 12,000, 15,000, 2,000, 2,000, 2,000. I'm like, well, they fluctuate massively. And sometimes it's like a case of am I on a school run? If yes, that adds another 3,000 steps just walking around. And these add up, right? So that's the NEAT part. Number 2 is, can you eat more fibrous, protein-rich foods to help you if you have been consistent 2 to 4 weeks doing this and nothing's changed, maybe you've tracked your weight each day, taking the average, then have a look. Have a look at the impact of that. Has your weight now changed? Have you hit a true plateau? If you have there, then I would consider you might need to drop a little bit, but only then. And then I'd be super consistent again with 2 to 4 weeks. And you've got to consider with all of this, if you're finding it quite easy right now and your plateau is a true plateau, and I mean nothing is changing, like not even like a pound every 2 weeks for me. If you've lost weight, maintained, and now you're losing a pound every 2 weeks, say, or even less, but you're finding it quite easy to stick to for your lifestyle, you're able to enjoy the odd meal out, not stress too much, and you're feeling good, your energy's good, I would keep going with that. Because what's the rush sometimes? You speed it up and then you can't stick to it, then we get frustrated. So, I hope that helps today, all about weight loss plateaus. So, any questions on that, do let me know. And let me know where you're at on that. If you found that helpful, let me know. Drink. And make sure we get that neat up today. Whether that's chasing the kids around, as I'm about to do. Whether that's standing up in between for periods of time. Avoid long periods of seating. We know that, even our 1 minute workouts that we do inside our group, these can have a massive impact. We think it's pointless, but we know from research that just that's where stand-up desks blew up. All of a sudden, people standing up, and it's like, stand-up desks are everywhere because of the impact on insulin resistance, just from standing. We know that the biggest benefit you get from exercise is the 0 to 1, like the first little bit you do. Like if your steps go from 1,000 to 4,000, that's where the biggest benefit will come. Of course, there's still benefits up to keep going up, but going from 20,000 to 22,000 will have a lot less benefit. You might want to think about resistance exercise there. Maybe those long walks aren't maybe enough for you right now. And in terms of changing your body shape, toning up, resistance exercise might be the place to go for you. But I hope that helps. Any questions, as always, let me know. I'm going to see if I've got anything from the kids or whether the envelope is for grandma and granddad and not me. But we can only control what we can. So, and here's a lesson. They asked for something on the TV. They've just put something on themselves. There you go. The power of not doing everything for them. So, any questions, let me know. Have an awesome Sunday, and I'll see you soon.